Hey guys, it's CHF Briars again. I will be filming a youth show placing video this time around. I showed 21 horses and 10 of them placed, which is pretty good for my first time out. Next year I will be showing for the last time in youth because I'm going to be too old to do youth, so I will be moving up to open in 2018. I did have a really good show. I met a lot of awesome people. I do have to say that the show was not run like I've seen before, like in the past. But for my first time, I definitely enjoyed it, and I will be showing again next year. So I hope to see some of you back again. Again, this is an iPhone video because my camera has broken. But once that's fixed, I will be making better quality videos for you. So let's just jump right into it. So over here, my Bozeman, he got a 6th place in the paint class. And I'm just going to say straight out, most of these classes took up about 2 full tables, almost spilling onto a third in some cases, with probably close to 40 horses in each class. It was pretty big. I had bought him the day before, and he did have a flaw on his neck. He had a small scratch on his neck, and I didn't have time to fix it, so I just threw him on the table with a reference, and he ended up placing really well, so I'm very happy about that. And then moving on, my baby Flo got a 4th and quarter horse. I usually don't place well in stock, but every single stock horse placed well this time around. She also has a few flaws, but they're not as noticeable as the scratch on his neck. So again, I kind of just threw her up there with a reference, expecting nothing, and I walked up and she had a 4th next to her, which was really awesome. And then my Secretariat got a 4th in the Most Loved Model class. I was expecting something maybe a little higher for him, but again, it's the Most Loved class. You can't really expect a placing in that class. It's basically based off a judge's opinion of which story made them feel the most connection with how you join the Breyer world. My Chinese New Year horse got an honorable mention in the decorator class with unrealistic colors and patterns. He kind of just sits on a shelf, and he's been sitting on a shelf since Christmas of 2014, 2015. I forget how long I've had him. And I didn't have another decorator that was eligible, so I kind of just grabbed him, packed him up, and threw him on the table. And honestly, for him to even get an honorable mention was really exciting. My Chico, who I also bought the day before, got a 6th in light and Spanish fulls. He was a really nicely done one, and I made a really nice reference for him, and I'm really glad that the judges took that into account, and they placed him really well. My Mamacita got a 5th in Spanish breeds. There were about 8 or 9 of her in that class, and she was one of the only ones I think that placed. I can't really remember, but I do remember her being surrounded by like 4, and none of them had a ribbon. So that was still really good for her. My Glossy Appaloosa Pop the Cork got a 7th in the Mustang class, and that was completely unexpected. It did fill up only 1 table, but there were about 40 Mustangs all scrunched onto 1 table, and I struggled to find a spot for him, so I put him down with a reference and prayed for something, and it seems he did stick out to the judges. My Latigo got a 3rd in the Appaloosa class, so close to callbacks. But that's okay. I'm just glad that they liked him and his reference. He has been showing with me ever since I got him, and ever since I've been showing him with a reference, he's been placing more and more, and even ended up Grand Reserve Champion overall of the OF Breyer division at one of his last shows, which was really awesome. My purchase, my $30 Bluegrass Bandit actually, from the Clarion on Friday night, or Thursday night, apologies. Placed third in the Tennessee Walking Horse class. Completely unexpected for her because, again, she was $30. And I looked her over and I really didn't have time to put a reference together. So I typed one up at the hotel and I printed it and just put her down. And again, I prayed for something and she ended up doing really well. And my final placing, my original Newsworthy, got a 9th in other pony breeds. I didn't want to be boring and show him as a Welsh, which I'm not saying that's boring, but all my Newsworthies are eligible to be Welsh ponies. So I took another step and I showed him as something completely different and completely unexpected. And I did end up not doing as well as I'd hoped with that breed, but he still placed with it, which gives me a little more confidence. So most likely I will be taking him to more shows under that breed. So these are all my placings from my first time out at the youth show. No champions or reserves, and I didn't have any horses in callbacks this time. But again, I was completely new to the experience, and I really didn't know how anything was run. I was kind of just showing my horses and having a good time, which is all I could ask for. So I will see those of you who are showing again next year, and I hope you guys enjoyed BreyerFest.